Another crazy ending to the game, leaving it late. Doncaster 2, Walsall 2. How do we all feel about that? Was it the fair score overall? I don't. It's a tricky one, really. Obviously, the possession was heavily in Doncaster's favour, but I don't think the possession means all that much in terms of game flow. I'd say probably the fair result is a draw. Walsall could have snatched it, which I think would have been harsh on Doncaster. But yeah, again, I don't understand why Sadler's so reluctant to play Johnson. Matt and Amanci up front together don't work. They're both quite immobile, both quite static. They couldn't create space if, say, Jellis or Allen broke forward. You need to have if you're playing a tall target man striker, you need to have someone mobile with them. And it's got to be Johnson. I don't know how mobile Wheatley is, but someone like that. Or that's it, really. Yeah, you've just got to be doing that. Or push Jellis up and have Jellis play off one of the two strikers. I personally think when football wasn't as weak and I'm trying to think of a word that won't get me cancelled. Let's just be honest, wasn't as weak and as full of pussies as it is nowadays. It was, in a way, better because physicality, for me, you need to have some in there. Without it, it just makes the game boring. For me, Amanchi's goal was good and fine. It was shoulder to shoulder. It wasn't excessive force. Defender went down too easy like they always do now because they know they'll get the benefit of the doubt. They know they'll get the free kick. For me, that kind of challenge is completely fine. It should be completely fine and it should have been allowed as a goal. Also, at the end, it shouldn't have finished bang on 4 minutes. Walsall were on the attack. It went out to the wing. It was controlled and the whistle went. That shouldn't be the case, as things happened after the 90th minute, which should have had more time added on. So again, it's very frustrating little things like refs aren't following the rules by the letter of the book. Overall, possession was sort of 2/3 to 1/3. Walsall had slightly more chances. I've got the stats up on the TV now. There wasn't too much in it overall. There was a couple of players. Molyneux was really impressive for Doncaster. Billy Sharp's always a legend. I always remember with him when he sadly lost his young child and he had that ovation at one of the grounds whilst he was I think he was at Sheffield United. It was one of the most heartwarming moments in football I can remember, to be honest. I wasn't particularly impressed with Amanchi's finishing. I thought he was quite wasteful. I thought Asimwe, again, the Charlton loanee, was a constant threat down the right. I'd personally try and look at keeping him on, even if you are bringing Barrett back into the squad. I thought Sadler, again, was too weak and deluded and left his substitutions too late. Walsall were clearly playing for the draw, which is soul-destroying, really. For anyone wanting them to go up, they weren't pressing, they were ambling about, and then they got caught out by that move and that amazing backheel goal by Sharp. And really, you could only blame yourself. The one performance that I thought was by far and worst at the back was Okabuge or Okagbue, if that's how you pronounce it. I thought he gave the ball away nearly every time. He did win a few, don't get me wrong, but a lot of the time he was constantly giving the ball away. He gave the ball away to lead to their attack. So it's not much of a surprise when Walsall just keep inviting pressure on themselves that they're going to concede. Both goals were decent. I looked at Molyneux a few times. I think Hornby should have done better with it. It's one of them, isn't it, when you're a goalkeeper, not everything's easy to save, and it looks a lot easier than it probably is. But I mean, it was low, it might have bounced in front of him, but it wasn't super quick. I'm just looking at it now, left-footed, wasn't right in the corner. I think possibly Hornby should be doing better with that. Unsure why Simpkins been dropped. I know he wasn't maybe bang on form, but I don't know. Salah's decision making for me is extremely weird. Taylor Allen's header, again, great moment for Walsall. I think if they hadn't have got that back, there was a chance that the momentum could have just taken them out of their game. With the possession being so one-sided, if they hadn't have got back into it quite quickly, I think Doncaster potentially could have stepped up to another gear and looked at taking control of the match. I thought that the Doncaster fans were quite quiet. I'm not sure what the attendance was, but it didn't look very full. Walsall fans were pretty vocal the whole way through. Quite a big group of those went, which was nice to see. I mean, that's a hell of a support on a Tuesday night to be trekking all the way to Doncaster. So I have endless respect for fans that do the longer way journeys, because I think that's incredible commitment, and especially when money's so tight and everything like that. So massive props to everyone who did that. It's tight again, Walsall two clear, but I suppose more importantly, I think they're 5 clear of 4th place. Winning the league is great, but automatic promotion has to be seen as the imperative goal that they can't lose out on. The striker situation bugs me, because I do keep thinking they could have done a lot better in that January transfer window and got someone a bit younger in and a bit more, I don't know, maybe a bit more in form or a bit more potential to make an impact on games. I'd also look at changing the formation. Liam Gordon, for some reason, doesn't attack till the second half. I don't know if that's instruction or what. He's quite quiet in the first, and then in the second, I notice in most games he becomes more prominent. I don't think the formation suits how Jellis plays at all. Commentator was saying he was coming into the game a bit more in the second half, but he's kept a bit too central. He's not impacting higher up as much as he was earlier in the season. So again, I think he needs to have a look about what's going to get the best out of the players here. I know it's a good result against a decent club, but Walsall is still bottom or joint bottom of the form table in the last 6 games. They're the top scorers, but they've scored, I think, 8 in the last 7 now. I think that's right. Don't quote me on that one. But 3 draws out of 3, Bromley, Wimbledon and today. Would they be happy to draw the 3 against like the 3 contenders at the top and then reassess after that? For me, no. I think every game you draw is just asking for trouble, and Walsall are just massively, massively lucky that the results always seem to go the way of what they need to keep them on top when it's getting closer and closer. So they've got a bit fortunate with that. It's a massive achievement at the top, though. I think there's a lot of negativity around it because the form is genuinely horrific. The play style isn't good. Tonight was the best they've looked going forward for quite a long while. I think that it's going to be an uncertain end to the finish because all the teams look like they've got either a massive win in them or a potential loss in them. There's no one who seems to be consistently hitting form at the moment. So it's going to be a nervy end to the season with 6 left. I'd really just love Walsall to go up. My heart says yes, my head isn't as sure. But I think tonight was a bit more positive than normal, but he just needs to squash whatever crap he's got with Johnson and start him alongside Mata and Manchi. You cannot start Mata and Manchi again. It doesn't work. It's too slow. It's too predictable. And no, just not for me. I know Manchi had a few shots, but I found him a little bit wasteful. I'm not a massive fan of having 2 quite sluggish and mobile strikers. Yeah, I wasn't particularly impressed. I didn't think Matt did much either until later in the second half. But at the end of the day, he did do something. So 6 goal difference clear off second, 2 points clear. Lost the joint least in the league. So there's a lot of rosy stuff. And to be honest, if anyone had have asked the table at this point to show like that, it would look incredible. The only reason it wasn't was because Walsall was so far ahead. Any other time, this would have been like dreamland stuff, because the table does read really well. Highest goal scored, best goal difference, most points, least losses. It is remarkable achievement. It's just so bizarre that there's so much negativity thrown in regarding both Sadler and the performances. 5 points off fourth, which is a big one. So that's, yeah, but I mean, Doncaster do have a game in hand, so that could drop back down to 2. Yeah, so interesting game. There's a lot of strings and in this sort of bow that could be unravelled at any time. It's nothing certain. It's going to be a really interesting end to the league that has been dubbed the one that no one actually wants to win for some reason. But yeah, massive props to the Walsall fans who were away tonight, and great commitment to the cause. Overall, okay result, hopefully. They just need to get a win under the belt. I think a win against Port Vale would be a really, really key moment to kick on and hopefully win out the season as champions. I hope you enjoyed my little review of the game. New to YouTube, just trying something else to aid the mental health, bit of self-esteem, talk about stuff that I enjoy, passionate about Walsall, and really want them to do well. So I hope that gave you a bit of an overview of everything. I know I didn't go into too much about the players because there wasn't much that stood out. There was a couple I didn't think performed very well, like the forwards and the Cagbray. And there was, I mean, Johnson, best goals per 90 in the league, says a lot. Also makes it look even worse that Sadler's not playing him. But I won't get into that too much again. Thanks for listening, guys. Have a great night. Up the Sadlers, and let's finish as champs. Ta-ra.